arm to the elect. You know, I want to do this lesson on the drums of World War III. You know, and pretty much, you know, the world has seen two, what they classify, since Esau's been in power. You've had World War I and World War II. Okay, and the coming war is World War III, and that prophecy of these three world wars are found in the scriptures in the Bible. You know, and Lord, I'm going to go into that a little bit in this lesson. And pretty much the horrors of war. Now, you got a conflict over there in Ukraine, and you got different conflicts around the world. Okay. You know, the scriptures talk about in Matthew 24, wars and rumors of wars. We'll read that as well. And, you know, these are all signs of the end times, man. Okay, I'm going to go into that in this lesson. Now, I'll just quickly flick through to my news on my phone. And I was just looking at it, and the first couple bits of news that were coming up were all to do with war. Okay, like for example, it says UK has no active system to provide early warning of a nuclear attack. You know, you got this other one about airfield in Pyongyang for potential ICBM launch. You know, wow, it's all of a sudden it's changed. Okay, but when I was looking at him and there was war stuff coming up. Now anyway, these two articles here will prove it. And pretty much, you know, this is a sign of the time that we're in. The drums of war are being beaten as we're leading up to what the climax of that World War III, you know, and going into what the time of Jacob's trouble. And one of the major prophecies that we always push, okay, starting with our apostles and elders at Great Millstone, is the charagma, the MOTB, that's in Revelation 13 and 16. Okay, and you know, if you don't know what that is, you need to find out what that is as soon as possible now, because we can't so openly speak about it, because the minute we do, that video is going to get clipped, because the information is so relevant to the time that they don't want that information coming out on, you know, on what the MOTB is. Okay. In Revelation 13, it talks about the beast, which is EU and NATO. Okay, and it talks about, you know, the beast is M-A-R-K. All right, for me to spell it out. So you got to know what that is, because you got different groups that are teaching, different Israelite groups that are teaching it's the white woman or Christianity or this and that, which that's false. That's not the truth. Okay, it's the digital all, man. All right. But if you've not come across these videos before, you got to find out what that is. You know, and there's many videos on Odyssey, like the apostles, they've got their pages on Odyssey. Okay, you can type it on Odyssey. Type in Great Millstone or something. In fact, let me do it on this lesson. Let me see if I can do it. So if I go, there we go. Yes. Well, if I just go, let's see, Revelation 13 and 16. That's the scripture. Yeah, there you go. Look, there's a brother right there. Okay, GMS, Gabar Awar. Oh, there's a video that I've done. Okay, so look. Okay, so pretty much, you know, you can just tap into that and have a look and see what it's talking about, man. Now, that's one of the most relevant to the time prophecies that we need to be aware of, because that prophecy must come to pass before the culmination, the climax of this World War III comes to pass, man. The destruction. And how is the destruction going to come about? Through fire. Okay, the Lord is going to do that through his intercontinental ballistic missiles, because that's really the Lord's tech that he's given to Esau, and the Lord's going to be with them missiles to make sure that they don't. In fact, let me read that in let's get that in there's Joel 2, and I'm also thinking of another one. Let's get that in so let's type in let's type in You know what? Let me come out of this and go to a. There we go. Throw it this way. So let's type in. Bear with me. You know what? No, it's in Revelation. But what I'll do is I'll read this in Joel 2. This is Joel chapter 2, verse 3. It says, "A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth." So what's that talking about? It's talking about the missiles. Okay, you got the delivery system of the missile, and you got the warheads in the cone of the missile. Okay, and you got that tech. You know, there's all types of missiles out there. You know, one of them is called Satan 2. You got a missile called Moab. You got hypersonic missiles that can get from, like, for example, like maybe like Russia to America in 15 minutes. So you got all kinds of missile technology out there, and that's going to be one of the main things in World War III that's going to bring about that destruction. Okay, the missiles are going to be shot over there to the land of America, and different places are going to get hit. Okay, Moab's going to get hit. They're gonna fry their missiles, and they're going to get hit. All right. So there's all these different places that are going to get hit, man, in the war to end all wars. It says the land is as the Garden of Eden before them. Okay, like a pleasant land, right? It says, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Why? Because once that destruction comes, you know, that place is done. You saw what happened with those, atomic bombs that were used in World War II, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, you know, different cities that were hit. And you see the pictures of the aftermath, and you see it's like a wilderness, man. Why? Because you're not going to see anything left. It's just going to be flattened at the point of the impact. And that was just the power of those bombs back then. The atomic weapons is nothing compared to the nuclear weapons of today. It says the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as a horseman so shall they run. You know, when you see them missiles coming, okay, it's going to be like, you know, horses galloping, man, right? You know, that's when the prophet Joel likened it onto. It says, like that's a similitude. It says, like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained, all faces shall gather blackness, because you ain't gonna be able to, when that destruction comes, where you ain't gonna go nowhere, man. If it takes a missile 15 minutes to get to where you are, where are you gonna go in 15 minutes? You know, especially when everyone's trying to get away. What do you always see in these end time movies? You always see people stuck in traffic trying to get away from some heavy destruction. Okay, they might have like a massive tidal wave or whatever in these destructive movies. Okay, and there's always people in the queue and on the motorway, man, and with their cars. And those things are going to happen again. It says, they shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march every one in his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Okay, they ain't going to be hitting each other. Okay, and they ain't going to be misfiring, none of that. It says, neither shall one thrust another, see? Okay, like you see in the movies, they get the two missiles and they hit each other. That ain't going to happen. Every single one is gonna be spent. Those arrows are going to be spent. It says, neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path. Why? Because the Lord is going to be in the missiles, man. When it's talking about fire, the scriptures say the Lord is a consuming fire. It says, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. Okay, so every one of them is going to hit its target. Okay, no air defense missile system is going to try and, is going to work. Why? Because the angels are going to make it. The Lord is going to make it so every single one of them hit, man. That target of America, Babylon. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run up upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Okay, so it's going to be a great destruction that's going to be brought by the missiles. And at the same time, you're also going to have the chariots. And the Lord's going to bring the lasers, that concentrated fire from the chariots too. Okay, and that's like the climax of this war. Now, let's read Matthew 24 quickly, and then we'll go to Revelation. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." Now, one of the things, like we were talking earlier, is the Revelation 13 and 16 scripture, that prophecy must come to pass before these things happen, before the destruction comes. Okay, because the world has got to be tried. Okay, and the Lord is gonna keep the elect, which we hope we're of that number, is gonna keep the elect from taking the chip. I said it. Well, Lord, willing, this lesson don't get cut, but there you go. We can't help it, man. Sometimes this is Revelation 3 and 10. It says, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth." Okay, so we're gonna get tried, man. And some scriptures talk about in Revelation 20 and 4. Okay, them that were beheaded for the witness. Okay, them that basically didn't take that charagma. Okay, and then you got these end time movies on. You got these like end time movies and Christian movies on that. Okay, and that's gonna. Some brothers are gonna have to go through that. It says, "Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown." So the Lord's gonna bring that destruction swiftly, man. But it's all within order. The scriptures say, "Wake not my love till he please." So first, that I really want to hit that point home. First, the scripture, the prophecy in Revelation 13 and 16 and 17. That must come to pass before the missiles are shot, man. And once it does come to pass, that prophecy, everything's going to move quick, as our apostle, Tahar has always said. All right. Now going back to Revelation 11, verse 14, it says, "The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly." Now, World War II has already come to pass. Okay, that was back in the late 40s, man. But the time that we're in now, you've had a Cold War between America and Russia and the powers. Since then, the NATO. He says, "What, the third war cometh quickly." We're in a time with a third war. Okay, and this is going to be the war to end the wars, because pursuant to Isaiah 2, okay, when we come into our rulership, this is what it says. It says, Isaiah 2 and 1, "The word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days, okay, that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains." The mountains represent governments. Now the government of the tabernacles of David, okay, with David as our king, that's the mountain of the Lord. That's the mountain of Israel, the governing body. Okay, the 144,000. All right. It says, "shall be established in the top of the mountains." Why? Because we're going to be supreme rulers over the earth, man, under Yahweh Shemel Shai. It says, "and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it." So all these different heathen nations, they're going to have to bow down to us. They're going to have to come to us and learn of our ways. Our vibration is going to be upon the earth. Right now, you've got the vibration of wickedness, because the wicked are in rulership, Esau, okay, the Edomites. It says, "and many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem." Because we're going to be officiating the law, okay, according to the scriptures, upon the earth, man. Righteousness. And these heathen nations are going to have to follow that. And if they don't, they're going to have to serve the punishments. It says, "and he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore." So there's going to be peace. There's not going to be any war, okay? Because we're going to have complete dominance and power upon the earth, all right? There ain't going to be no more war, man, okay? First of all, the Israelites say we're going to have spiritual power, okay? The scriptures talk about how, if a family doesn't come up of the one of the families of the earth don't come up for one of the feasts, I believe it was, they ain't getting no rain. Okay, so we're gonna have complete supreme power and lordship over the earth, man. Okay, scriptures say what the Lord's gonna make us a nation of kings and priests. Okay, what does a priest do? A priest officiates what? The law. So we're gonna rule with a scepter, and we're gonna officiate the law, man. Okay, judges. So there ain't gonna be no more war now. War. Okay, these wars now are being brought by who? The so-called white man, Esau. All right, let's read that in Revelation 6 and 4, because the word Edom means red. This is Revelation chapter 6 verse 4. It says, and there went out another horse that was red. And this is talking about a horse representing what? Power. Okay, and this is representing Edom. Okay, you have the elites of Edom. Then they had that documentary, Michael Rivero, All Wars are Bankers' Wars. And the international banking elite, you know, they orchestrate all this, man. All right, sometimes they'll be funding both sides, and ultimately they profit off it. Okay, and it forwards their agenda, man. You had the 3 world wars planned by what was it, Albert Pike. Okay, he was a Freemason, and they outlined the things that they wanted to accomplish, like World War II, setting up the state of Israel, where they had them, you know, the small hats established over there in the land of Israel. Okay, in our land, which they're not the real Israelites. Which, you know, you have Jake, you know, you have Israel scattered among them, but predominantly they're not the Israelites, man. Okay, it says, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And peace is being taken from the earth, man. Constant war. Okay, constant war. And that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. All right, and what was the blessing that was given unto Esau? The sword. The blessing of the sword was given to him. Okay, that's how we know who it's talking about. And the ultimate sword is what? The glittering sword, the arrow that's spoken of in the scriptures, the missiles, man. That's going to be used to destroy him. Let's get a quick precept on that. This is Job chapter 20. Verse 23, it says, when he's about to fill his belly, Yahweh Shai shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So you know, the Lord's going to destroy America. The Lord's going to bring destruction on Edom, okay, upon his empire, okay, on his return, man. You know, that's the end of world. That's really the end of World War III. Okay. When the Lord, because all these different armies pursuing 2 Ezra 13 are going to try and fight the Lord. Okay, there was war in heaven. Okay, they're going to try and fight the Lord, but the Lord is going to just wipe them out. Okay, and establish what? You know, he's elect upon the earth, man, the tabernacles of David, as the new rulers. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be getting them elites in chains. We're going to be putting them to work to get them bodies and you know, gather them dead bodies and we're going to be putting any kind of weapons and things like that to fire. We're going to be putting down idols, all of that, man. And we're going to be setting up righteousness upon the earth, you know. So that's what's coming, man. So the time that we're in, we're very close. We're very, very close to the end. But the main prophecy we're waiting for is a Revelation 13 and 16 that we're watching. You know, the scriptures say, watch as well as pray. And these are heavy times that we're going into. You got people that are teaching that there's no Jacob's trouble. Don't listen to those guys, man. Okay. I mean, you can already see the warning signs. Even here in the West, you see gas prices, oil prices going up. Every time I speak to any business owner, they're talking about whatever industry it might be, whether it's construction or hospitality, you know, whatever, food, they're always talking about the increase in prices. And all these things are adding to that. You had the Brexit over here in the UK, which that's in the scriptures, talking about the divisions in the tolls. Okay. A kingdom divided against itself. How shall that kingdom stand? Okay, you had the whole thing with the, you know, the Crown Royale. Okay, which now because they got the Ukraine thing, they've kind of died down on that. It's on the back end of the media. But these are all things that are leading to what? An imminent financial reset, a collapse. Okay, and the culmination of that prophecy come to pass in Revelation 13. Okay, which ultimately is going to lead to their missiles being shot, man. Okay, what's happening over there in the Middle East between Iran and Israel. Scriptures say least of the flock. Let's get that in Jeremiah. Is that 50? Yeah, 50 or 51? Let's see, least of the flock. And again, the least of the flock are talking about Israel, man. That the little hats. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 45. It says, "Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans, America. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their inhabitation desolate with them." Because, you know, there's going to be things happening with Iran and Russia and the Middle East and Israel. And Israel going to draw America into that. And that's going to be the World War III. But before that comes to pass, man, before that, the missiles are shot and all that, like I said, we keep harping on this point, that Revelation 13 and 16 must come to pass. So we got to know, that's why you got to know these scriptures, which is the knowledge and wisdom is the stability of thy times. It says in 2 Ezra 9, it says, measure the time diligently in itself. How do we measure it? Through the measuring stick, which is the scriptures, the prophecies, to know what time you're in, man. So, hey, you know, this was just a quick lesson, and Lord willing, it's edifying in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, Basham Makakadash. With that, man, I'm going to say shalom. Shalom to the elect.